YouTube, Facebook, hello.
Hey guys.
Happy Sunday. It's Sunday. Happy Monday. It feels like a Sunday. Happy Labor Day.
It's
Happy
the
day
holiday
off.
Sunday.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm all set on my side. If you're good, Josh.
I think so. Let me
Check,
adjust
check.
my office. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Yeah, that'll work. I think I am good.
All right. Sweet.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, viewers, good to have you here. Johnny's dead again. He's out gallivanting around the globe as he does. But Josh and I are here. We're holding down the fort. And oh boy, did a lot happen in week 1 of college football. We're here to break that all down for you. What's the panic level of some of these teams that lost this week? Is it, 4-alarm, whatever, panic, pandemonium, hair on fire? Or is it, well, that's a bummer, but we move forward? What is it? We'll break that down for you. We've got some NFL predictions on the way as well. Before we get into all of that, Josh, what's going on, man?
Football's back. That's really the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been raining ever since the Micah Parsons trade. Yeah. The entirety of Dallas is in like a stupor because as much as the Mavs trade hurt, this is a Cowboys town through and through, as you know, everyone will tell you at all times. You don't even have to ask them. Whatever, because college football's back. I can trash talk on random teams that I've never seen and will never see in person. I can go find some kid with podcasting gear, and I can't judge because I too have podcasting gear. But watch some guy go, I think, and he said this with his whole chest. I won't call out his name, but he said, yeah, I really do think it's going to be hard for Texas to not have a scoop and score and a pick six within the first quarter.
Wow. What a take.
Man, what a take.
Yeah.
What a fun take.
Yep.
Podcasting gear, I have said multiple times, should be more expensive for everyone else, not us. We're fine.
Yeah,
we're
Thank you for
for
listening. Make it accessible for us. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's it. Well, now that we own our podcasting gear, now jack up the prices.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. Josh, I have to comment, that shirt that you've got, and you really have to watch us on YouTube and Facebook to get the full experience. That's an elite shirt. So
thank you.
I love it. Is it just cherry design? Like it looks like it's just kind of an old wallpaper, but I love it.
Yeah, this is like a nice vintage grandma wallpaper shirts.
Yeah, that's
just
crazy.
Cherries.
Yeah, that's amazing. My week is pretty much just football. Had some fun time hanging out with family this weekend as well over the long weekend. But I mean, football is so back. We are so back. We're in full panic mode across the country. But before we get into full panic mode, Josh, you had a chance to actually go to football game this week. What did you? How was your time at SMU opening week?
Went to Southern Methodist University. 16 AP in the preseason. Fun time. Their tailgating is hilarious because they've really actually only been doing it in this capacity for 25 years. If you've been to SMU, if you've been to their campus, beautiful campus, just go. It's pretty. That trust fund money does go into keeping up the buildings. They have what they call the Boulevard, and it's this, I don't know, half-mile stretch where it is just kind of what you might expect a rich college campus to have, which is just basically 2 wide streets and a big old like middle partition that is just grass and old growth trees. And so the tailgating is everybody on that stretch. And you buy out, it's the same things you see at any other places: alumni clubs, parents, current students, the frats and fraternity, the frats and sorority stuff happens closer to the library side. No one has been there, so it's fine. But like, lots of fun. They have good energy for it only being around for literally 25 years this year. They were very, very excited to mention so. Guys, you gotta show up to the games. And I'm spoiled because I grew up with Ohio State. I grew up, yelling with 105,000 other people
Right.
in one direction. I'm used to 112, 115 decibel noise levels. And like, SMU, please. I'm just gonna say, get loud. Please actually go a little nuts. The student section, great. No issue with the student section. They looked like they were having a good time. I was sitting on the opposite end so they don't do their student sections on just the side. I know that's not terribly uncommon, but it's on the east side, so to speak. And they had a good time. They seemed like they were good. I think they sold out that crowd. Or that section was sold out. Everything else was like, I think we were at, I never took a picture, but like 85% capacity
Okay.
for a home opener. And I realized
Was
it was
it a
against
better
East Texas
environment
A&M.
this year, like given the fact that they made that playoff run last year than it was? Because you were also at
Definitely.
the home opener last year. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely better. Like noticeably better. And come on, guys. Now, given that the game was fun and very messy, a lot more sickos than I expected. Unfortunately, Jordan Hudson, one of their top returning receivers, out on a shoulder injury
First play.
after his first play of the game.
Yeah.
Rough, real rough. It was really interesting. Designed plays. I'm gonna do that clean because I bumped the mic. The designed plays seemed great. Jennings looked comfortable. He wasn't getting a ton of throw time, but this is classic.
Agreed.
You got to establish the run. Can't just, again, I'm spoiled. I can't just say I want air raid all day. But it is an FCS team, so I'm like, well, maybe let it loose a little bit.
I watched that game, Josh, and that was one of my biggest takeaways. Is I feel like Jennings is under pressure a little bit too much for an FCS team that like just made the FCS like Division I transition not that long ago.
Yeah, and so did they win? Yes, won handily, but messy first half. It never looked like they fully settled into a rhythm after all of their designed plays, after their like pre-scripted plays ran out. It was like glorified jet sweeps half the time. And, either that or some sort of weird toss-off, handoff thing. It's fine. But after a while, even the FCS defensive guys were catching on to it. And so it really became borderline ineffective halfway through the second quarter. So defense was interesting as well. Obviously, you have 2 pick sixes, you have forced fumbles. They did good, but again, it felt like they let an FCS team, a recently minted FCS team, kind of do what they wanted to do for a little bit, and things just felt off. Now, had Baylor not won, I would have been more nervous going into the next game.
Right.
Now I'm ready for some high-level Maction at 11 a.m. on a Saturday. So not quite Maction, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Again, had I just come off of the Ohio State game, yes. So I'm watching breakdowns of NFL level, triple fake outs, overloading an offensive line with fake looks and fakes on fakes. So yes, I come from elite Super Bowl championship defenses in college
right.
to a school that is still recently getting into their newer era of hopefully a continued dominance. So I'm not going to offer too much judgment. It didn't look great. If this was Ohio State, we would be foaming at the mouth.
Sure. Yeah.
But there wasn't, and I didn't lose any sleep. I had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Fans were definitely better. They get to run their horse around like he's little Sebastian. It's great.
Yep.
Hey, SMU, please don't stop calling your team the best dressed band in the land. It's cheeky, and I know where it comes from, and I think you do too. Just stop.
Yeah. I'll say it's probably a good sign that SMU wins 45-13 and fans are nitpicking the performance. Like that, at the end of the day, is probably a sign that you've arrived somewhat as a program.
You've made something. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I agree. I watched that game and had similar takeaways. Okay, let's get into the real meat and potatoes and the real kind of drama from week one. Josh, it's one of my favorite things to do in week one because what else is there to do after week one than just to overreact to absolutely everything?
It's so over. We're so back. It is just cycle that back and forth 5 or 6 times an hour, and you're great. Every 10 minutes, just flip, and that's super healthy.
Just every once in a while, say this is a big third down, and we're so back.
Big third down. I'm doing a fist pump real quietly in the Starbucks as I'm trying to grade and watch the Ohio State game or just any game period, and going, oh yeah, there it is. Stop it. Hey, real quick. I know that we're about to get into it. Don't tush push in college.
Oh, I disagree.
Just
Josh.
don't.
I wholeheartedly
okay.
disagree.
So if you're a MAC team, yes.
I think anyone that can do it should do it.
Well,
we may just disagree on this, but
oh sure. Listen. Those who can, absolutely. I don't think just because you have what you consider to be an elite offensive line, you need a guy who is maybe 6'4" and benches 400.
Well, right. Yeah, and you're saying Arch Manning probably is not benching 400 at this point in his career.
In none of the 15 pre-roll ads I saw of him before the game started, did I see him deadlifting 400? No.
Okay, fair enough.
But that could be on the cutting room floor for all I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, it was only 15 ads.
Right. Okay, so I've got the panic meter. It's one of our favorite things to bring out. We bring it out, if you're new to the show, we bring it out every so often when we think teams are panicking. Or maybe when we think teams should panic. So the panic meter, just to clarify what's happening here, the panic meter is how we assign panic to the program, not what they are currently doing, because Alabama is an 11 of 10 panic-wise. Our panic meter is what should the panic level be. Most of the time, it's less than what the fan base is doing. Sometimes it's more, which means, hey, fan base, hey, team, pay attention, wake up. I don't think we're going to have that problem this week. Let's start with Texas. Let's start with that game, that noon game. 14-7 is your final. Ohio State gets the win. And Josh, you're a good person to answer this since you are in this state. What do you think the panic? Well, I'll ask you this: what do you think the panic meter is from a Texas perspective, and what do you think it should be?
They're still in denial from what I've seen.
Okay.
So I don't think they're even processing panic. What I've seen primarily is their panic is, if we had trusted Manning more, if we had given him more opportunities to gain his confidence, we easily could have won.
Okay.
Which for me registers as this game could have gone either way. It happens to not, because the coach was bad and didn't make good coaching choices for our elite star. I've seen a lot of defense of Manning. Listen, I have no issues with the guy. I'll admit I got a little nervous. I watched his highlights the night before the game, and I went, oh, crap. And then I remember those were high school highlights, and sometimes it doesn't transfer.
Yeah, not a lot of high school defenses looking like Ohio State, as it turns out.
Right. And again, I'm not trying to hype or demean this guy. He had sparks of efficiency and some real good looks, but big environments. There's no shame in that. What I'm seeing is a lot of people trying to basically defend that, trying to normalize that they overhyped Manning going into the game instead of realizing, kind of like we did, where it's like, hey, good or bad, he and Sam both had massive pressure to perform in areas they haven't ever been exposed to before.
Sure.
Saying new guy coming right out of a championship team with an Ohio State team, an Ohio State fan base that's very expectant to, if not repeat, at least go into the season with dominance, carrying us all the way to the Michigan game where we can finally reset some of those wrongs that have been committed in the past few seasons. You have Arch Manning, who, again, is not unused to college football, and especially SEC college football. He has great genes. He has great mentors. All that being said, is how I'm seeing, I saw Emmanuel Echo. I saw, Coward, who they were all going, listen, the guy's good. You got to make these plays, but man, Sark, you gotta really let this guy shine. It didn't seem that you were confident in him. And I'm like, that's not what you guys were saying. I saw what Feinbaum said. He
we
said
all did.
We're not even gonna have an issue. So I'm seeing not denial. I'm not seeing panic. I'm seeing denial of like, oh, this could have gone our way.
Sure.
So there is some hubris there. So I'd say their panic is maybe a 1. Where do I think their panic should be?
Wow.
3.
Okay, I don't
think this is.
Yeah, I agree. I was between a 4 and a 5, so maybe I'm slightly more panic. And I think the only reason for that is like in October, you're at Florida, you're home against, well, not home against Oklahoma. You're in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma. You still have at Georgia.
Right.
You still have, you're hosting Texas A&M. So my only thought is slightly higher panic, just because there are so many potential losses on the schedule if you have the same kind of performance that you did on Saturday.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'll dial my panic up if we saw this 2 years ago at Ohio State when we're like, okay, can we with Kyle McCord, can we see how he does in some of these lower pressure non-conference games? And we were left with questions of going, okay, they're scoring, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like anybody's confident, that type of stuff. And if we leave the next few weeks, if UTEP and Sam Houston, if those both look iffy still, then I say dial it right back up.
Yeah.
I think that's entirely fair. For me, the only reason I'm going 3 is I just don't have enough information.
Yeah, that's fair.
You had one of the best defenses, and this is no snark to Texas's defense. Like, they're also a fantastic defense. Both teams have NFL talent.
Yeah,
I'm
all
biased.
over the
I'm going to
place.
think
Yep.
that Ohio State has more talent and better coaching, but of course I'm going to think that, and I think probably the game showed that out.
I would agree.
But I'm not going to. But also, I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh, cool, OSU's going for a repeat." There's just not enough information yet. I'm very happy with what I saw, but this wasn't oh, cool, we're fine.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most reasonable take I've heard in week 1 yet, because however this game was going to go, if Texas lost, it was going to be what we're hearing. Arch Manning's a bust. This is terrible. We're cooked if you're Texas. Or if the opposite happened, if Texas beat Ohio State, it was going to be, oh my gosh, hand Arch Manning the Heisman right now. Texas is running the table. The SEC is so much better than the Big Ten. There's no reasonable middle ground, which is okay, because that's what we kind of do as college football fans. We don't all have to be, reasonable all the time.
Reasonable is boring. Reasonable is not good radio.
Yeah, it's not. And fan is short for fanatic. So to some level, we can't all be, just these educated takes all the time. Have some emotion in it. But I agree with you that we just don't know enough about these teams yet. And I think one of my again, I'm not trying to turn this into I hate the playoff thing, but one of the takeaways I had from that Ohio State Texas game, especially after the fact when Ryan Day basically said, "Hey, we basically had the training wheels on Julian Sayin," which I think he handled pretty well. Everything that was put in front of him. If there's not a 12-team playoff where there's some wiggle room, you're not seeing that. And I didn't feel a level of desperation. Like, of course, both those teams wanted to win. But if there's a 4-team playoff for the BCS, you're fighting for your life week 1. You are throwing Julian Sayin to the Wolves. You're saying, hey, I know you're a freshman. You got to go get this for us. Ohio State
Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. This could be our season. And so you don't have that urgency. So as a result, you have maybe a slightly limited playbook, which to Ohio State's credit, hey, they were able to put the training wheels on Julian Sayin and still win a game against the number 1 team in the country. Wow. And your defensive line that I thought may be a weakness against Texas pretty much bottles up the run all game long. Wow. That's huge. But I think because, and rightly so, because of the format, you've got Ohio State and Texas not necessarily just all in terms of do whatever it takes to win this game. They are thinking long term, as you have to when you've got a season that could go 16, 17 games. These two teams know because they both went deep into the playoffs last year. So I'm with you. Like, my level of panic for Texas is not as much as some people are saying. I am a little worried about Manning in the sense that this is his 3rd year in the system. I do expect to some level you actually to be able to complete some passes. Like, that passing percentage was bad. His inaccuracy percentage, if you really want to dive into the nitty gritty of the analytics and stuff, it was not good at all.
No.
I think that gets fixed as long as there's not some weird underlying injury that was at play that we don't know about. I think that gets fixed because you're right. You mentioned the next 3 teams. It's San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, then a bye week, then Florida. I've talked about all the big games on the schedule, but the reality is, okay, there's some time for Texas to get right before they really get into the meat of the remainder of the schedule. And you're right. If that doesn't look good, Josh, then the panic meter goes up and goes up rapidly. But I'll go with 4. I'll land on 4 for my panic meter when it should be with Texas.
Feels reasonable. Yeah. We'll see. You're right. Yeah, 3rd year in the system. There should have been, I guess maybe in our minds, a bit more confidence because we saw that with a guy who, no offense to Julian Sayin, there's a reason that Day wants him, and it's clear from the playing. Sayin had the same pressures and arguably less time in the system.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just subjectively less time in the system. Yeah.
Yeah. And still did, in my estimation, this might be biased, in high pressure plays, deep in his own end zone, risking a sack, with game winning status on the line, threw some really good clutch balls. Not dimes, but darn close.
Yeah.
And the equivalent, Manning was throwing late. He was throwing like weirdly behind. Strong. Very, very impressed with some of his ability to stay up and have his eyes forward during some of those sacks, especially near later in the game. But you can't take 3.5 quarters to warm up.
Yeah. Right. That's a good way of putting it. So Texas falls to 0-1. Ohio State 1-0. We're fired up about that. Johnny did text us his thoughts while he was like traveling on a train in Italy. So he was dialed
screw
in.
him. We didn't ask.
That's true. Johnny, if you're listening to this, you're right. We didn't ask. All right, let's move over to the next team. What's the panic meter for Clemson? Clemson loses at home to LSU on Saturday night. Clemson has a lead after halftime. They had the lead kind of well into the 3rd quarter, and it disappears. The offense looked kind of similar to last year, which was an effective offense at times, but too often there were just some major flaws, especially against top competition. First of all, let me before we get to the panic meter of Clemson, if LSU has a defense like that this year, then they might just win the SEC. And really, we've said that from the beginning. We just had to see it to believe it. Well, I've seen it now, because I actually do think this Clemson offense will be pretty good. I think they played pretty poorly, but I think it's going to be a good offense if they can actually run the football, which they did not against LSU. But if the LSU Tigers have that kind of defense, and I know they play a lot of good teams too, but they're going to be really, really hard to beat, because Clemson's defense actually held LSU back a little bit. Because I think that could be, look, we're in a situation where potentially that LSU offensive performance that you saw might be their worst of the season, because we think they have that much potential with the quality of play. So all that being said, where do I think the Clemson panic meter's at? I think the Clemson panic meter should be at a 5. It's not a great loss, not a good feeling. You feel like after that game, the way it went down, you feel like there's not a lot of progress that was made from last year to this year. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
You also have South Carolina at the end of the schedule, as you usually do. South Carolina, not a pretty win, but they get the win over Virginia Tech, and I think we all think they're going to be dangerous. Dylan Stewart is just an animal. You played Georgia Tech in a couple weeks. The reason why I think it's only a 5 is because I think Clemson fans are resigned to the fact that, you know what, maybe this season is just going to be like last year. Well, last year you won the ACC and you made it to the playoff. If last year you were Florida State and you went 2-10 and your takeaway is, this is going to be like last year, that's full panic. If this 2025 season is going to be the same as the 2024 season, you won your conference and you made it to the playoff. Worse outcomes are possible. I hope Clemson, for their sake, can run the ball more effectively. I mean, 10 points is just not going to get it done against the top teams. Klubnik did not look great. Didn't have a lot of help. One of their wide receivers went down. One of their best wide receivers went down. So I expect better wide receiver play. But if Clemson can't run the ball, then they're going to be one-dimensional in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say 5.
5 seems super reasonable. I think I'm ranking them higher than Texas because, again, like you said, their depth is apparent. Or so their lack of depth rather is apparent. And it's not that they're a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. Again, they were holding their own. Ugh.
10 points is not pretty. No matter how you.
It's not great.
No
Yeah, I can't put much else. Well, and it's hard to go 19 of 38.
Yeah.
It's hard to spin that.
Right.
I can't put it's not. No.
Yeah,
We
you
were
needed more from Klubnik,
clowning.
no question.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's nothing. I'm not going, hey, you guys have fallen apart. It's also I can't. It's hard to spin. It's hard to spin any of that into. That's not as bad as it looked on the
right
on the field. It did. It did.
Agreed. All right. Last one, and the most notable, the one that everyone's talking about. What should the panic meter of Alabama be? Because Alabama rolls into Tallahassee, Florida, and walks out with a 31-17 defeat. Let me just give you some stats before, because I think Josh and I are going to be pretty aligned on our panic meter for Alabama. Let me just give you some stats. It's just crazy. Since 2007, in games when Alabama was favored by at least 14 points, which they were on Saturday against Florida State, Nick Saban was 131-2. Kalen DeBoer is 4-4. In 14 games, Kalen DeBoer has lost to as many unranked teams as Alabama's head coach as Nick Saban did in his entire 17 years in Tuscaloosa. So, just to recap all that, through just 14 games at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer's matched the unranked loss total Nick Saban had over 235 games.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to make an obvious statement and then contextualize it.
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we came to this conclusion.
Good insight.
Here's the thing. Nobody is ever going to be Nick Saban again.
I would agree.
That's before I give my panic level, which, spoiler alert, I think is a 0. Just embrace it. Just embrace this end. Don't stress. Don't stress.
good.
Why are you worried? Just
What's one game?
sorry. There's legitimate. It's sorry, not just one game. What's a few seasons? You know what?
True.
When you're just embrace.
How important is
being-
college football, anyways?
How
In the grand
important is
scheme of
college
life.
football anyways.
Right.
You know, Birmingham's got a great like Air and Space, like that NASA stuff. Go there.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Birmingham, Huntsville. Go there. Just go have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. Don't worry about it.
There's a Waffle House in Birmingham, I hear. Go there.
There has to be. Yes, there's a bunch of them. I actually have a list if you want. One, nobody was going to be Nick Saban. And two, I saw this on Twitter. I wish I could pull it up quickly enough to give them a good credit, but there was theories going. Alabama knew this going in. The next coach after Saban was going to be ruthlessly compared to Saban, no matter what his actual record would have been.
Sure.
And this is the type of coping I'm seeing. I think this is fair to call it cope. One, I saw people saying that Steve Sarkisian was incredibly ungrateful for not returning the favor. Nick Saban apparently saved his life, and he should have honored that by taking up the Alabama job
Oh my
last year,
gosh.
2 years ago.
Did Alabama even
two.
offer him that job? Like,
There's no way.
I'd have to go
I'll
look.
have
I'm
to
sure
look
it's
through
out
and
there. But
see.
anyways, not to
Has to
interrupt,
be.
but yeah.
Right. No, and then the other thing that I was seeing was, they're basically using DeBoer as like a sacrificial lamb. Let him go in 3 or 4 years. It's going to be clear that he's not a Nick Saban, and then they'll bring on a real,
The one they
their
really
real
wanted.
coach. Yeah, exactly. Which last I
Uh-huh.
saw, I think I actually did save this one. I think the prevailing theory, because you want theoretically, and I get this. You probably want a Sabanite.
Yeah, someone from
There.
his coaching tree directly.
Yes. Like, I don't think that's unfair. Oh, I didn't save the tweets. There was a at least on like the Poly Market, some like guy who was like up in their list, and it felt very like there's no way they're picking this guy. So anyway, whatever it was. They're in the bad part of denial. Texas is trying to justify how it could have gone the other way.
I don't know if
I'm seeing
Alabama's in
Alabama
denial.
go, "Oh, this is a 4." But you know what? That is fair. I did go to on Twitter. I went to Facebook because I do have to grab my favorite thing to do after big teams like this lose. Is I go to Facebook and I go to their Facebook, the official account of Alabama football or Texas Longhorns football, because you get
Read some comments.
your uncle.
Well,
Your uncle's not on Twitter with 5 alt accounts
True.
trying to like, get retweeted by NBA Central. Like
mhm.
he could be, and if he is, please introduce me. I would love to chat with him. But he's not. He's on his 5th account, but the 5th account in a row because they all get hacked. He lost his password,
Right.
but hacked. Just tell him. It makes him feel better.
Right.
With a profile pic that looks like this. And is going, you should have put me in there. And
Right.
those guys are at like a 30.
Yeah.
They're
On the scale of 1 to 10.
They're
Yes.
ready to burn an effigy.
I think
They're
what the
gonna
panic
they're
meter
gonna melt
should
down
be.
one of the statues. They're gonna melt down a Saban statue and use it as like a sledgehammer to beat DeBoer with. Like that's where
Right.
they're at on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. What you said at the beginning is possibly the most positive spin you could possibly have. That, DeBoer, this was always a known thing. It's just kind of an in-between until we really find our guy. I guarantee you that's not how Alabama saw this at the beginning. I guarantee that's not how 99% of their fans look at it now. I think the panic meter should be, I almost want to say 10, which is, yes, is that overreacting to week one? It is a bit. I'm going to give it a 9, maybe 9.5 if we're allowed to do decimals. I think it's a 9.5, mostly because of what a lot of people saw in the moment and what when they dig into the tape, they're really finding. Cole Kubelik is a great follow on Twitter. He really dives deep into SEC football and college football across the board, but he's like deep in the film room, like breaking down trench battles and all this stuff. And he said there are let me try that again. There are consistent things on this Alabama tape that are absolutely foreign. Dan Orlovsky tweeted out this morning, I counted 28 loafs on Alabama's tape. Loaf means loafing around, not non-hustle plays. 21 loafs on Alabama's tape. If you took the jerseys away from Alabama in that game and just swapped them for whatever generic team you want, maybe it's like FCS Midwest from the college football video game. And then you were told, hey, this team that's in the generic uniform is a college football team, a well-known college football team. Which one is it? And you told people to watch it and you let them give their guesses. I don't think anyone would say, oh, yeah, that's Alabama. That's what an Alabama roster looks like. That's what an Alabama culture team looks like. No one would guess that that's Alabama because it is foreign. It does not look like an Alabama team. It doesn't even matter who the coach is. It just is such a far cry from what we've seen. And I struggle because I don't think DeBoer is a bad coach, and I understand Alabama fans feel extremely differently, and the stats don't necessarily back up my take on this. But I don't know if you can just accidentally win the number of games that he won at Washington and be a bad coach. Why the transition's not working here, it boggles my mind a little bit because the talent acquisition has not dropped off. If anything, if you do a really kind of deep dive into recruiting, if anything, DeBoer's got the train rolling more than it was in the past. And you throw in the wrinkle of transfer portal, I think he's solid there. But, I mean, wow, just some warning signs. And it's not a week one overreaction. Yeah. If you showed me this game in week 7 or week 8 with that kind of hustle or lack of hustle, the alarm bells are going off maybe even more. So how does Alabama recover from this? And there's, if you believe it, there's reports of players being out till all hours of the night and eating fast food, which again, just completely foreign to not only Alabama, but just to what a championship level team does. It doesn't help that your end of the season last year was so poor against Alabama.
Yeah.
But it's a 9, 9.5, 10. I think all those answers are applicable.
Yeah. Yeah. And we noticed this occasionally last season, if I remember correctly. But undisciplined is a word that I keep seeing a lot in a lot of the postmortems, so to speak, of the game. Where, yes, and this is not to give Florida State... This is not, we're talking about this, again, in the context of Alabama and the pedigree they have. This was not a, like, oh, this was Alabama's game to lose. Even if that's how it was sold going in. Like, Florida State did a great job. I am very happy that they're not going to be a 2-10 team. At the very least, it seemed like they did from this semester. Like, great. And take your 10K fine, whatever they were fines.
Yeah, 50K. They'll take that.
The amount of upset SEC fans going, oh my gosh, why are they rushing the film? It's so lame. And I'm like, just wait. You'll get there and you'll understand. Maybe not this season, maybe not next season, but you'll understand.
Yikes.
But this is, I was gonna put them at a 9. All the things you said, Johnny, you're not Johnny. Johnny's dead.
Yep.
All the things you said, Aaron, it makes sense. I'm just not sure what's not clicking. And again, it might just be growing pains. I don't know in what way. It might be just something that's less apparent on the field. But I was going to put them at an 8.5 or a 9. Again, I don't want to overreact, but you know who they're playing next week, Aaron?
Yes, I do. ULM mentioned.
ULM mentions. You're welcome, sickos.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So now I'm worried. I think
Yeah.
now you guys should be 11.
Here's some additional statistics to add. If you I don't think there really are a lot of people that think this, that it's not a big deal what we saw. It's not only that Alabama lost with like some lack of hustle in there, it's that you got worked on both sides of the football.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State completed 9 passes total. Castellanos 9 for 14 total in this game. Florida State, if you take out the 3 knees they took at the end of this game, 46 rushes for 236 yards and 4 touchdowns. Alabama, 29 carries, 87 yards. Not even 3 yards. Actually, I think it is exactly 3 yards a carry. That's it. Ty Simpson, I think, is actually one of the least of your issues here. I thought he played pretty well, all things considered. But it was just a disaster. Alabama's defense, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. Florida State's defense, 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Just, wow. Wow. I mean, maybe there was a world where we saw Florida State winning this game. Not like this. I mean, they were double-digit underdogs. This is crazy. Yeah, I don't really know if I have anything else to say, but it's shocking. So 9.5 is my official panic meter, because I think the only way it's worse is if like your starting quarterback gets injured in this game and you lose that way. 9.5 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
Turns out when everyone can pay players, it's a little different.
Oh boy, yeah.
Joel Klatt said that on his show, and I'm like, thank you so much. We don't have any concrete proof. We just all know at this point, right?
We all want to believe it. Yeah.
We all want to believe it. Turns out when you level the playing field's level, and it makes for some more interesting games.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm all here for it. Listen, if this means, and this has been the positive spin on this side of a messy week, Johnny talks about, and we all talk about too, when Johnny was alive, he would talk about the chaos of, I forget what season, was it the 09 season, the 2010 season, something along those lines, a little while ago, where it was so many number one ranked teams falling, so many upsets. It was just an absolute chaotic year. And those are the fun seasons, at least for me, because I'm not into chalk. I'm into chalk when it comes to Ohio State and nothing else. Everybody else can be as messy as they want to be. And it means that the games are a little bit more, I don't want to say compelling, but it allows me, at least as a fan of just watching football games for their own sake, to be a little bit more invested in, oh, this seems close. This is a P4, this is a Power 4 team versus a high level group of 5. You know what? App State, first off, happy 18th anniversary, Aaron.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
The kids born then are legally adults, and that's a memory. I do have a specific memory of that App State game, and I realized today I don't like that fact. I don't like that I am at the age where I am, that I can remember something that was 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Don't like that. That's wrong. It's incorrect. But those types of things, I'm all for those types of upsets happening. And if in fact the playing field has been leveled, and even if it just means that a Nick Saban type is no longer in the college football coaching world, you have humans like Sark and DeBoer and Day. We were not singing Day's praises for most of the season last year. We have humans back in the coaching. We have humans in the head coaching spaces now, and there's going to be weird little things that happen. Saban was one of the best to ever do it, and there will be guys who get close. But I think we're going back into, and what Alabama fans really are going to have to grapple with is they may not find that type of once in a lifetime talent
I
ever
agree.
again. Just like Patriots fans are going to have to grapple with the fact that Drake May is as good as he might look and as impressive. We'll get into our previews later, but as impressive as it is was it Robo has been able to do things like Patriots will never get a Tom Brady again because the league may not ever see a Tom Brady
Right.
again. So it's just we're moving into a new generation of coaching. And Alabama, unfortunately, y'all got objectively spoiled with the insanity that was Nick Saban.
Yeah. And I think we can say with confidence that we're not going to see that kind of dominance from one college football coach, at least not in this current era, because I'm not fully convinced that NIL, transfer portal, all that is going to result in more parity, but I think it results in enough parity enough that there is more distribution of talent. I mean, look at what Texas Tech's doing right now. That might be a good example.
Yeah.
Whether that works or not is still to be seen. I mean, they just kicked in the teeth of whatever FCS team they were playing this week.
Hey.
But, and while they were sitting in their locker room waiting on a rain delay, they signed another 5-star recruit. So, like, that's an example. I mean, Texas being Texas the way they are, even with that loss, the amount of money that they're spending on the roster. And you've seen that with Michigan. They've got a true freshman quarterback that's ready to dazzle. We'll see how that goes on the road next week at Oklahoma. You've got Ohio State doing what they've been doing. You've got all these different teams. I just don't think you're going to see the kind of dominance from any program the way we saw it with Alabama, maybe even with Georgia. We'll see. Ohio State's going to put that to the test a little bit this year. But I think you're absolutely right. I think we can say with pretty good certainty that we're not going to see ever the kind of dominance that we saw with Nick Saban, partially just because, for my money, he's the best of all time. Now, I do think that means that you can do better than 4-4 or whatever that stat I said against.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're a double-digit favorite. Yeah, when you're favored by at least 14 points, I think you can go better than 4-4.
Loss. Yeah, this is their first game loss since 06.
Yeah, yep.
It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad.
Yeah,
feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But also macro level. Welcome to a normal good team that occasionally does stupid things.
Yeah. Yep.
Y'all, some of you guys weren't alive back when this type of stuff was happening. So sorry, buckle up.
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome to having a little bit of misery, just like every good true sports fan.
I agree. All right. Well, with that, because we've got the NFL coming up this week, we're going to rapid fire because we are also trying to get out of here before North Carolina and TCU kick off here.
Oh, that's right.
In a bit. But we'll rapid fire some NFL
Day.
predictions here. Josh, I know your Steelers are once again going to be one of the more interesting things happening in the NFL. I mean, the Micah Parsons thing happened. I think that's been well documented. We touched on that.
Hilarious.
I don't know what more there is to say other than I'm excited to see which player the Dallas Cowboys draft with one of those new first-round picks. Probably someone that can do things similar to Micah Parsons.
They're going to get a Micah Parsons type, I hope.
Yeah. Yep. The irony. And also, while I don't really feel bad for Cowboys fans, the fact that Dallas loses Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons within however many month time span that was, yikes. It
was March, April? It was
something like that. That's
crazy. So in the calendar year 2025, losing those two, not great. And I've noticed down here at least different views. Okay, first off, Cowherd apparently is saying now he's always hated Parsons, and he's like, "Great job, Jones." He's like, what a great move. And I'm like, Colin, what are you doing, buddy? What do you do? He is now on a full Micah Parsons hate train. That is hilarious. That I do not know why. Anyway, is it the Mavs reaction was very mourning, why? It seems like other than
felt like
some
betrayal.
Of the leadership, betrayal, exactly. What I've seen primarily from all of the Dallas people I follow is objectively, this is not only not the first time that Jones has tried to play pseudo GM and make these types of moves. This is a well-known tactic from him where he will delay these types of things until way, way too late after other contracts are getting signed. If Parsons has said he wanted to be the most highly paid player in his position, he lost out on that so many times. And not just him, Jerry specifically delaying until the last minute and trying to they were even making deals with him without his representative in place, which means they're trying to put a hold on him or franchise tag him against his will, which is just shady as heck. So given all of that, and again, this is how Jones operates. This is known, this is documented. We don't need to belabor the point. The reactions were like, cool, how do we remove Jones ethically? Right. Is really where it's at, where it's like,
yep.
It's not a last straw, because I would have thought the last straw would have been the fact that, as some guy on TikTok put it, the Cowboys haven't won since they invented flat screen TVs. And they were still getting their TV over the air the last time they won.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this would have been I feel like a 2010 situation. I don't know. So it's more of like a, dang it, Jerry. What are you hoping to get out of this?
Yeah. I mean, is there any chance the Cowboys do anything this year?
I mean, they just re-upped. Nobody interesting. I can't imagine.
Was it Brand they gave a bunch of money to? Not again.
Yeah, and they re-upped Prescott. That's old news. He's in for another 8 years, 6 or 8 years. Like it's clear that. Oh, hey, sorry. By the way, Alabama fans, I remembered this and I wanted to make sure you guys knew. Kalen DeBoer's buyout is $70 million. So
that's like Texas A&M money right there.
I was gonna say
it's been done
before. I don't know how many oil donors you have, but
probably not as many as you think. As great as Alabama football is, probably not as much as you think.
That's not the alumni base,
or
the donor base rather. And no offense to that, that's just not what was around. But back to NFL. Yeah, I don't expect them to do a darn thing.
Yeah. Well, let's rapid fire some division picks here. And Johnny can give his feedback. Well, actually, he may be dead next week too. He will be. So technically, he'll be alive in the United States, but he will have come back like less than 24 hours and gone straight to work. So I don't know if he will functionally be alive next week. So we'll see. At some point,
we will get you anyway.
At some point, we'll get you.
I feel like that's the best.
That might be. You're right. That might be the best Johnny to have. AFC.
I need
East.
a functionally dead Johnny. Yeah.
AFC East. I'm going to go Bills. I'm not going to overthink this at all. Yeah. This seems pretty straightforward.
No, there's no issue with that. I'm interested to see what the Patriots do, but I don't think they're going to out Bills the Bills.
Agreed.
Simple as that.
Yeah. AFC North is really interesting. I want to like the Bengals, but I don't like their defense and the fact that they're paying as much money as they are to 3 players. I get it. I just don't know how successful that's going to be. And you're basically, we've seen it before, you're an injury or 2 away from just complete disaster. So, again, I'm not going to try to overthink the room here. I think the Ravens win this division again.
I'll go just to be different. I'll say Bengals, but it's a coin flip.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't say definitively. I'm really hoping the Steelers do not make the playoffs, because right now.
So I was going to ask you what your thoughts are on the Steelers with your brand
Rodgers
new old
stupid
quarterback.
Big helmet.
Yeah.
Listen, first off, why is it funny when the Browns do it with Flacco, but when we do it with Rodgers, now we're getting made fun of? That's hypocrisy. Just listen to Rodgers' 15 podcasts on that. With his very cryptic special friend discussions, whoever he's dating or married to, allegedly or not, the cold plunges that just bring him to nirvana. How about you throw?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be fun here in Green 18, but like that's about it. Yeah, I have no clue. I'll stay 8 and 9.
Okay.
I have no clue.
All right.
8 and 9. That's my final prediction.
Okay.
It's gonna be that. This is the first year Tomlin's gonna not have a winning
Okay.
winning
Wow.
record.
All right. What are the chances Rodgers goes down like week 5 just in time for Will Howard to get back from his injury?
It's so perfect. It can't happen. And so it's gonna be week 2, and Mason Rudolph's gonna fill in like normal.
Yeah, I love it. All right, AFC South. I think this is going to be Houston. I don't really like
Yeah.
any of the other 3 options here. So
No. I don't think that there is Lawrence I'm cooling on, and as a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Good flash back in the day, but like I'm just not convinced.
Yeah.
Colts, you're starting Daniel Jones, so sorry. And Titans
they are
Titans.
too, Josh. They're sorry as well.
No, I've seen him so many, and you know that guy. This is not a hit on him. There's that guy who's redone that one Christian worship song. Said, "This is our Colts. This is our team."
Yeah. Oh, it's weekly listening. It's a ritual.
No,
at
it
this
is
point.
weekly listening. It's ritual. They put him in the stadium, and everyone went, "We deserve this." And I'm like, first off, that's mean. First off, that's mean. 2, deserved not because of that, but because you did kick out 2 generational talents. One, you did a sneaky not renewing
Right.
Manning,
And
And
the
then
other you tried
2,
to have killed.
you tried to murder actively every week, and then booed him when he said, "Oh, hey, I don't know if I like being surviving assassination attempts each week."
Right.
You should have done it 2 weeks before the season. Well, maybe you should have given him more confidence earlier.
Yeah. Maybe we should have built an offensive line around him. Yeah, agreed. All right, we are over to one of probably the most interesting division maybe is the
Yes.
AFC West. I
fun.
want to be cool. I want to take the Broncos, or I want to go way off the radar and say, hey, the Chargers are going to have a defense, or I don't know, do something. Or the Raiders with Geno Smith, yay, and Ashton Genty running for a bazillion yards. Look, until I see otherwise, I just got to pick the Chiefs.
There's no, and this is not. We don't do this with pleasure. Not that we necessarily hate the Chiefs, but there's just not. The only unknowns really are solved because we've seen the Chiefs operate with all these unknowns and still manage to eke things out. Andy Reid's a great coach.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the difference has come down to at times. The jokes about the officiating, neither here nor there. Like, he's a good coach. And that's at some point you trust those types of game plans. So, yeah, would I like to see the Broncos make a run? Yes. But yeah, I think Chiefs is the fair answer for the AFC West.
All right. The NFC East, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders. It's really a 2-team race in my opinion. Unless the Giants go with backup quarterback Jameis Winston, then I'm all in. I'll go Commanders here. I think that they were obviously just a step behind the Eagles because they got waxed in the NFC Championship game. But I think it's hard to repeat. It's hard to even repeat as a division winner in a division that's potentially as competitive between those 2 teams. So I think Daniels plays exceptionally well again. You've got McLaurin back now. You've got, I think, enough pieces in place that I think the Commanders get this done.
Just to be different, I'll say Eagles. And I'm saying Eagles knowing that it has been 21 years since a repeat NFC East champion
It's
has occurred.
insane. What a stat.
Crazy. Makes it a lot of fun. But and that's if health continues on the Eagles.
Right.
They're not the young team you see with like the Commanders. But with that comes the reality that the Commanders, I need to see what they did defensively off season, but they gave up the 3rd most rushing yards
Sure. Yeah.
in the NFL last year. And even if you're not a run heavy team, you can't go far with that. So I'll say Eagles repeats, just to be different. But 2, I think there could be precedent for that. It's got to happen at some point.
Yeah.
You got to repeat at some point.
Yeah. I like it. NFC North, awesome and interesting division, maybe the best
Yeah.
division in the NFL. It's probably either that or the
Agreed.
AFC North, one of those two. They play one another this year, so the schedules for those teams are brutal. I think the Packers are going to get it done this year, and I say that with a lot of regret, and I say that hoping I'm wrong. And I hope that the
Yeah.
Lions pull it off for a third straight season, but I think that Lions schedule is just kind of a murderer's row this year. You not only do you
Yeah.
have a first place schedule, but you're playing the AFC North, so that's going to be pretty rough. I like the Packers here. I think it's not just the Micah Parsons trade. I was kind of leaning Packers anyways, and then that happens, and it's like, okay, wow. Yes, you're paying
His
a ton of
feels.
money to him, but that's going to be brutal to face him twice a year. So I'll go
Yeah.
Packers here. I think Jordan Love has his best year yet. He's got to stay on the field. That's probably the secret to having his best year yet. But I think they get the job done.
Yeah. There's no really the big thing is how the Vikings are going to do. And they're trusting McCarthy. Jefferson has a hamstring issue and may not be as 100% as he normally is. Lions really, we were talking the last year was kind of the year to try and make the move, and arguably 2 years ago was really their chance. Great that they were able to bring back pieces, but darn it, them cheeseheads know how to make moves off season, and they have history on their side. This is the year that the Packers would be Super Bowl contenders. This type of trade with this type of offense, genuinely, with Brett Favre and with Aaron Rodgers, their Super Bowls happened about the same age that Jordan Love is now.
Hmm.
This is now we're going into conspiracy theory territory here, but I believe both of them won at 26, and that is how old
Wow.
Love is going to be this year. And they grabbed a great offseason trade. I don't know if it was always a Parsons type, but unfortunately, this is like the President Lincoln's secretary being named Kennedy and Kennedy's secretary being named Lincoln. It's like, does this mean anything? No. Is it gonna be like a little like earworm in my head that I'm like, I can't get this out of my head? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm also going Pack.
Nice. NFC
I'll take Pack
South.
for the NFC as well.
Yeah. Oh, your pick overall for the NFC.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I'm leaning that way too. NFC South, I'll go Buccaneers. The Saints are going to be real bad. I don't think the Panthers are going to do much, and the Falcons are kind of in flux, I'd say. I mean, obviously a chance that they do something here. They were in place last year before kind of the season took a wrong turn, but I think the Buccaneers are solid here, and I think they have a better year than they did last year.
Mayfield has done really well, and I realize it's a new OC this year. This type of stuff, I'm not as worried. I'm with you. Buccaneers seem well, especially compared to I just don't. Saints, sorry guys.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Panthers, sorry guys. Are we saying Buccaneers are a Super Bowl favorite? No. No, never, but pretty confident no. This is not unfortunately a strong division anyway. So it's not that hard for me to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bucks will be better than the Falcons. What else is new?
All right, NFC West, another interesting one. Got the Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm going to go wild card here. Give me the Seahawks. I don't know why.
Ooh.
That doesn't, I don't know. Just, I feel like my picks are I'm just picking all the favorites, I feel like, for the most part. So give me the Seahawks. I don't know why. Maybe the Sam Darnold thing works with Cooper Kupp and whatever else they got going on there. I don't know. That's probably a stupid pick, but I'm tired of picking all the favorites because I do think the Rams, in all honesty, have a great year. Like, I could see them reaching the Super Bowl this year. But just for kicks and giggles, give me the Seahawks.
I want to not pick the 49ers. The 49ers will be playing 10 games against teams that either have a new starting quarterback, a new head coach, or both.
Wow.
It's a really easy strength of schedule for them. Large scale. Does that mean Brock Purdy's winning MVP and leading them to a Super Bowl? No. But got them darn close last year, and it seems like their path is a little bit clearer this year, at least in the regular season. So,
yeah,
darn it, 49ers.
They
not
are
that I hate
technically
them.
the odds
they're boring.
favorites. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not, yeah.
All right. Well, we've got our division winners. How about your Super Bowl matchup? You said you've got Green Bay on one side.
Yeah. I look at the AFC and I
think we lost Josh. That's what the AFC did to him. Is wait, that. There we go. All right. Well, while he's probably rejoining here, I'm assuming his internet died. Just as a reminder, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can like the video, you can follow, or you can subscribe. We're actually over on YouTube doing a subscriber challenge where we've got a challenge going on, the Fifth and Goal Sports YouTube channel. We're trying to get the number of subscribers to hypothetically fill up a college football stadium. Our first stadium is Fifth Third Stadium, Kennesaw State. They seat 10,200 people, and we're getting pretty close to that number of subscribers. And then we'll celebrate. We'll throw a party, which is just giving ourselves a pat on the back, and then we'll move right into the next stadium and see if we can fill that one up as well. So if you want to help us out with that fun challenge, and it'll help you make sure you don't miss any of our content, that's probably the way to do it. So, yeah, that'd be great. And Josh has storms in the area, so we're going to try to get him back. Yeah. Well, while we're at it too, if you're watching live or if you're watching on demand on replay, which you can do on, like I said, on both YouTube and Facebook, let us know what your NFL predictions are, or if you want to go back to the beginning of the show, what the panic meter is for those teams that we mentioned. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. What the panic meter is for the teams that we talked about, the teams that lost. You've got Alabama, Notre Dame. We didn't talk about really. Interesting loss there, and more probably important, interesting win for Miami. Mario Cristobal was 1-6 against top 25 opponents. It's the first top 25 win for Miami since, oh boy, I don't remember what year, but it's been a while. So that was a huge win for the Hurricanes. Now, they still play Florida. They still play Florida State here pretty early in the schedule. They actually play South Florida, who looked good, beating Boise State. So it's not a clear-cut path for Miami, but look, if they had that kind of defense paired with Cam Ward last year, how far would that team have gone? It's an interesting question, and it's kind of a hypothetical question we ask ourselves really throughout last year's. Wow, if this team had a defense, how far could they go? Maybe we'll find out this year. Carson Beck looked good. He looked under control. Freshman wide receiver popped in that game. Solid defense. That defensive line extremely disruptive. The offensive line looks very, very good. So that's a tough one for Notre Dame. They're not out of it, but they don't have the benefit of like a Clemson who loses and can still get to the playoff via a conference championship. Notre Dame does not have that. So in all likelihood, it's kind of like it was last year when they lost to Northern Illinois. It felt like it was do or die for them the rest of the way. And it's going to feel very similar this year. And they've still got some tough matchups. In fact, they've got a bye week next week. And then is it at Texas A&M or is it home? Either way, Texas A&M is on that schedule here soon. So that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. So interesting game there. And of course, we've got North Carolina and TCU tonight. So we will see if we can get Josh back here. Yeah, good week of college football, though. And I can go ahead and preview some matchups we have week 2. I saw someone on Twitter kind of poo-pooing the matchups next week for college football, which just as a general rule of thumb, don't do that. Don't do that. There's no need. College football is always great. Sometimes it's those weeks where maybe, yes, we don't have the number of top 10 matchups that we had in week 1. We still have some great matchups. How about at noon? I'll just rattle off some games here that I'm personally very invested in. Illinois travels to Duke. If you think Illinois is a legitimate college football playoff contender, which I do, I am one of those people, then this is a big test because I actually happen to think that Duke's going to be pretty good this year. They paid a lot of money, notably, for a quarterback, and we're going to see how it pays off in this game. This is noon at Duke on ESPN. We talked about SMU at the beginning. Baylor travels to SMU. That's going to be probably a pretty desperate Baylor team after losing to Auburn. SMU had 2 pick sixes in their win against East Texas A&M, but I thought at times their secondary did not really impress me. I thought their overall athleticism and kind of physicality was not where I would probably expect it to be for a legitimate college football playoff team, which they were that last year. So I say all that. But Rhett Lashley, their coach, admitted that there was a lot of young players that played, and they sustained a couple key injuries in that first game against East Texas A&M. So depth could be a potential question there. So I like that game. Iowa State. You've got the Cy-Hawk rivalry as well. That's a good game. They're scattered throughout. Oklahoma State at Oregon, I don't think it's going to be a good game, but it's at least intriguing. Ole Miss goes to Kentucky. You've got, of course, Kansas, Missouri. That's back. So a lot of good games in week 2. So whoever was poo-pooing the schedule. Anyways. Yeah. Josh, I hear you.
Yay. I'm hotspotting because our Wi-Fi is like down. So I won't be able to do I won't be able to finish out on video.
Yeah, no worries.
But I can audio.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see if I got this camera set up this angle yet. Well. Let's see. Let me get something set up here 1 second. See if I can add window capture here. See if this works. Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. This is a chat. This is how we do our video stream. In case you ever wondered. All right, we'll see how
Welcome to the behind the scenes.
good or bad this looks.
We normally put this on the Patreon, but this is just out for y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, let me actually do this. All right, we're getting somewhere. All right, good enough. Good enough to finish the stream. All right,
Nice.
Josh, you said Green Bay is winning your NFC. Who do you have winning in the AFC
Yes.
/ what is your Super Bowl matchup?
I think, like I said, I still like the coaching of the Chiefs. However, and I'm hoping I'm not jinxing them or cursing them eternally for this, I think this is the Bills' year, and I'm taking Bills over Pack.
Wow.
This is scary. I don't like saying this, but I have to because I need it.
I like it. I want to pick the Bills so bad to win it.
I know.
And
I know.
I think
It
I had the
pains
last
me to
2
do so.
years, and it just has not worked. And I'm not going to fall for it a third time, which means congratulations, Bills and Josh. I've got the Ravens finally getting that Super
Yeah.
Bowl with Lamar. I've got them
That was my
beating
other
the
choice.
Rams,
That's a good choice.
and which notably I did not pick them to win the division. I've got the Rams coming out of the wild card, reaching the Super Bowl, but it's the Ravens who get the job done. Give me Ravens over Rams in Super Bowl, whatever number it is. That's what I've got. Josh, I like that though. That's Bills over Packers. That seems solid as well. We'll see what Johnny has to say about that and how high he is on his Cincinnati Bengals. We'll prize some thoughts from him even while he's dead. So that's what we've got going on. And on that same note, we're going to make some picks.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Maryland takes down Florida.
Chop this one up for the Gators. Chop a national championship for Florida.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
All right, if you're listening on podcast, you have no idea that Josh is in the middle of a tropical rainstorm because the Mother Nature is mad at Dallas for trading away Micah Parsons. So, current scoreboard, I've got 5. Josh has 5. Johnny has 3 because Josh and Johnny both picked Ohio State to beat Texas. And they did. Lee Corso was correct. In fact, Lee Corso went perfect on his picks, which we didn't talk about that, Josh, but what a fitting way to end Lee Corso's career.
What a beautiful ending. Every team he picked got it. Every place he coached or played at also won.
Oh,
The lone Florida State upset pick. The first love Ohio State making his dreams come true. They gave him the original hat, by the way.
yeah, I saw that. That's incredible.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So great job to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this week we've got Buffalo versus Baltimore Sunday Night Football. How about that? Meeting between apparently both of our AFC champion picks. So I'm going to go Baltimore because I've got
Yes.
them in the Super Bowl. And Josh?
Yeah, I'm going Bills because I have them in my Super Bowl.
All right. And that, ladies and
Easy.
gentlemen, is how to speed run picks of the week.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
Do they need a guy on weekends to like walk around random McDonald's and like dressed as a Grimacy? Because I'll take that.
Are
take that
you
job
okay saying
now.
bad things about the British?
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
It's time for a history lesson, folks. And to properly set the background for this history lesson I'm about to provide you, I'm going to stall so our picks of the week music goes away, and so I can play this. This is the UT Rio Grande Valley alma mater. If you're new to this show, we play this often because we've become UT Rio Grande Valley fans, and we like to call them UTGRV as an
Real
abbreviation.
Utgarvians over here.
Yeah. Yep. So, I can't even say it right. UTGRV, the music's going to distract me. They are back playing college football, everyone. Last year, they had an exhibition schedule. They are officially part of the FCS. This is their first time playing college football since 1950. Now, if you're wondering, what in the world is UT Rio Grande Valley? It's a great question because for a while, that was not a thing. What happened in 2015 was that the University of Texas Pan American, UTPA, was merged with the University of Texas at Brownsville in 2015 to form what we now know and love as UTGRV. So we love that. So this team has been revived. They play their first game as an FCS opponent, first college football game since 1950. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, if you're playing your first game since 1950, there's probably going to be some growing pains. And there probably will over the grand scheme of the season. But UTGRV made the wise decision to schedule some Texas team named Sol Ross, not Division I, and they cooked them 66-0. So we are so back. It's our favorite college football team. Move over Ohio State. Utagurv is playing, and they actually have 2 college football stadiums that are their home, I believe, which is incredible because they're literally 2 schools that were merged. So Brownsville and Edinburgh. I think they actually only have 1 stadium. I don't know. It's unclear. Who cares? The bottom line is, if you need a college football team to root for, the Vaqueros is what you should root for, or who you should root for.
Fantastic. It's fitting that the week that Johnny is dead is the week I finally get to talk about tennis.
Okay, good.
Because I'm going to butcher a bunch of Polish names, and he's going to have to take it. Last week at the U.S. Open, tennis player Kamil Majrzak, you're welcome,
Sure.
was signing tennis balls, signing some hats, and just
Oh.
typical either post or pre-match stuff. Again, Johnny, I'm going to probably say this was right after his 14 love game. That didn't happen, but guess what? Johnny's not here to correct me, so it did. Was signing hats, signing balls. A kid grabbed, no, not a kid grabbed. A kid presented a hat to Camille to sign it, and then this old guy right next to him snatches it right out of the kid's hands, and like smiles about it. And the kid is like, "Hey!" And other fans were yelling at Camille, "Hey, someone stole the hat!" And he was just not his fault. He was clearly in game mode or post game mode, and just it didn't register to him. A lot of people were yelling a lot of things.